very important in the nation's development.
We hope that first of all it will enhance the culture of realistic self-assessments.
In the end, these participants are expected to fashion out ways of tapping from the experiences of fast-growing economies of the world to build Africa's capability in applied sciences, engineering, as well as technology. In Abuja, Chukwunonsonwabeze, NTA News.
And to ensure the growth and development of the automotive subsector of the Nigerian economy, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Enelama, has inaugurated the Sector Skills Council in Abuja. Gabriel Odu reports.
Following the outcome of the nationwide survey of the skills gap of mechanics, the National Automotive Design and Development Council, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor and Productivity and other relevant agencies, produced a modern curriculum for teaching automotive mechanics, hence the inauguration of the Sector Skills Council.
The function of the council is actually to be in charge of the curriculum development for the sector.
Boko Haram have already been rehabilitated, and these include mostly police formations. Among them is the 41 mobile police base where the admin office project is completed, the SIIB office structure of the Nigerian Police Veterinary Clinic, Divisional Headquarters C Division, and the destroyed police headquarters. Reconstruction works have been completed.
Most of this project were totally damaged, some partially damaged. Now, we had the master plan for those projects before, the way it's supposed to be. So we used that specification. Some of them were state specifications, not actual federal government specifications.
Started the project that's May 2016. So we have about 17 number of projects. And all the projects have been carried out as far as specifically given to us.
Similar monitoring and evaluation of projects are to be undertaken in other parts of the affected northeast states of Bauchi and Adamawa. In Damaturu, Yobe State's capital, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has clarified that 38 officers recently issued compulsory retirement letters were given fair hearing by the Board of Inquiry set up to investigate their offenses, and that the exercise was not meant to witch hunt or victimize any of them. The Director of Military Civil Relations, Nigerian Army, Major General Rogers Nicholas, stated this when he featured on NTA's Good Morning Nigerian program. During a lecture he presented to the course 24 participants of the National Defense College in Abuja, Defense correspondent Keji Busari Ahmed reports.
Before the coming of the present administration into power on the 29th of May 2015, the Boko Haram terrorists carried out their nefarious activities freely with impunity, destroying lives and property in the northeastern part of the country. The insurgents occupied almost 14 local government areas of Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states. With the relocation of the Central Military Command to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, and strategic steps taken by the military, the insurgents had no choice but to lie low. This, Admiral Olasaad Ibrahim described as a right step in the right direction. The Minister of Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, who also delivered a lecture on the management of defense, the Nigerian experience, advocated the need for harmonization between the ministry and the defense headquarters, described military partisanship as corruption. There is no gainsaying in the fact that at the strategic level, the military leadership is affected by institutional culture, which the present administration has to reorganize to put the fight against insurgency in its right perspective and finally bringing it to its logical conclusion. From the National Defense College, Abuja, Keji Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. Still to come, NGO takes enlightenment campaign on the protection of children from all fronts. Details in a moment.
NTA International. This is where the news begins. Every breaking news and developments on the African continent.
Welcome to NTA International News. State House correspondent Hamza Musa.
In-depth news analysis and professional perspectives on all sides of the story.
Experts say the issue of security
national energies and resources must be mobilized to promote every day.
Otherwise, I learned that the different forms of child abuse have grievous effects on the child that is being abused. It can either affect them in the now or in the future.
If we are being sexually abused, we should scream or we should report to the nearest authority that are close to us.
Members of the Child Abuse Prevention and Youth Development Organization maintained that the entrenchment of policies and programs that protect children from child abuse is key to overcoming the menace.
Awareness through the necessary agencies to sensitize the public about the existence, many, especially the issue of sexual abuse. Many are not aware of it.
According to the group, the Child's Rights Act signed into law in 2003 is enough to deal with child abuses in the country, but regretted that the implementation of the act is poor and awareness still very low. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
A book that addresses marital challenges among couples has been presented to the public. Justin Bem Uye reports that the book, which entitled Christian Marriage, Before, During and After its celebration, is authored by Reverend Father Christopher Novia.
Christian marriage, a divine commitment and institution ordained by God to be appreciated by spouses, in some instances encounters uncertainties and difficulties, which most analysts attribute to poor planning and management. In an effort to enhance the formation of ideal marriage and also reduce to the barest minimum incidences of crisis bedeviling the present-day marriages, the 7-chapter book covers all aspects of Christian marriage, including proximate and immediate preparation, celebration and development periods, as well as death and dying period.
For those preparing, they will gain a lot. They have to know what marriage is all about. Those who are already in need and are finding it difficult, undergoing some crisis, this also will help them on how to cope with their crisis, with their challenges. Let me not use the word crisis now, with their challenges.
Is the church doing enough to prepare couples for marriage nowadays? Influence of parents, siblings, in-laws in your relationship with your spouse? And lastly, what is responsible for many cases of divorce in civil society? And again, the issue of nullity of marriage in the church.
That as long as we are Christians, Catholics in particular, and believe that marriage is survived by the grace of God, then priests are actually best informed to talk about it. Especially priests that work at the marriage tribunal, like the author of this book.
You know, marriage institution in the Catholic Church is what we value very much. It is the bedrock of the nation, bedrock of the society. The children you bring out from marriage are those who will lead the nation.
Another book by the same author, titled Understanding Parish Pastoral Council and Finance Committee, containing 8 chapters in 135 pages, was simultaneously presented and launched. Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
And on business news, let's join Olayinka Ojo.
Welcome to the business segment. The President, National Cashew Association of Nigeria, Tolu Fasheru, has said that export has generated $253 million, about 50.4 billion naira in foreign exchange for the country. Mr. Fasheru disclosed that cashew, which is currently grown in over 21 states of the Federation, with Nigeria being the 6th largest producer in the world, added that the target is to move production to 500,000 tons by 2020, as well as develop a processing capacity of 70% with about 350 metric tons. United States must do more to encourage banks to do business with Iran following the lifting of sanctions. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammed Sharif said this at a conference in Norway, adding that he believes the United States on paper has removed all sanctions. He further explained that it is important for everybody to realize that an agreement will be sustainable if everyone feels they are making gains from the agreement. Oil fell on Tuesday as investors' nervousness over next week's vote on Britain's possible European Union exit swept financial markets, eclipsing signs of return to health for crude prices. Perceived safe haven, assets such as Swiss franc and German bonds rallied, while industrial commodities and equity markets, seen as more vulnerable to economic risk, fell after polls showed Britain's Leave campaign leading before a referendum on EU membership. Before we go, a quick check at closing figures on the floor of the stock market. And that does it on the business segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo.
Many thanks, Olayinka. The Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, says it has lived up to its bidding in overseas development assistance to Nigeria. The agency's chief representative in Nigeria, Nakamura Hirotaka, said this in Abuja while interacting with the media ahead of the agency's president's visit to Nigeria. Ominiodem reports.
Japan International Cooperation Agency assistance to Nigeria is in agriculture, water supply, education, health, culture, and gender mainstreaming issues. Mr. Hirotaka says through the African Business Education Initiative for Youths, 22 Nigerians have been trained, and currently selection for this year has been concluded and 29 youths are due for the program. Others include several grant aids, rural water supply and technical assistance projects. A total of $28.46 million has been provided in this direction, while about 2,327 hand pump boreholes have been provided, with more than 1 million Nigerians having access to portable water supply through the federal government JICA-assisted rural water supply program. On agriculture, JICA says it is partnering Nigeria to ensure sustainable food security in the rice value chain in view of the diversification of the economy by the federal government.
We started TCAT process since 1993, when the other European donor agencies got tired to support Africa. Now, at the time, Japan stood up to support. Why don't we support Africa?
While in Nigeria on a 2-day working visit from Thursday, the Japanese International Cooperation Agency President, Mr. Shinichi Kyotoka, will inspect the clean energy by solar electricity generation system, integrated solid waste management system, reduction of non-revenue water scheme, and the emergency improvement of electricity supply facilities, all in the Federal Capital Territory. JICA President is also billed to visit one of the internally displaced persons camp in the FCT. Omini Udan, NTA News.
Justin Bem Uye is standing by for some stories around the globe.
Malawian President Peter Mutharika has declared war against albino terrorists, claiming that his administration will win the war against them. Reports indicate that while making his address on International Albinism Awareness Day, Mutharika said that perpetrators of crime against albino nationals would face the full might of the law. Mutharika said that at least 130 arrests had been made in connection with albino abductions and murders in Malawi. And in Kenya, 6 members of parliament are due to appear in court over allegations of hate speech. Reports say recently a member of parliament aligned to the governing Jubilee coalition allegedly called for the assassination of the former prime minister and opposition leader, Raila Odinga. Opposition members of parliament responded with similar comments. The head of Kenya Police CID division said the police will arrest anyone or personality who propagates hate speech. And away from Africa, the United Nations Security Council has unanimously approved a resolution calling for Libya's feuding militias and security forces to unite and strengthen national security forces to defend the country from terrorism. The resolution encouraged the recently formed National Unity Government to finalize interim security arrangements to stabilize the country as a critical step towards tackling Libya's political, security, humanitarian, economic and institutional challenges and to combat the threats to terrorism. Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
And now sports. Nigeria's the Tigers on the verge of qualification for the 2016 Rio Olympics women basketball event as Team North Central emerges national under-17 cricket championship. Kene Magbodike has details on sports update.
A 3-pointers by American-based Ezine Kalu in the last second of the fourth quarter Tuesday gave Nigeria's D Tigresses hopes of qualifying for the 2016 Rio Olympics basketball event.
Kalu launches a 3. Go! Can you believe it? Unbelievable!
The Nigeria's women team, who on Monday lost 60 to 71 points to Belarus in their first match of the 2016 FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournament, came from behind to beat South Korea 70 points to 69. Nigeria will now wait for the results between Belarus and Korea midweek to know their level of qualification. The third edition of the Nigeria Cricket Federation National Under-17 Girls Championship 2016 has ended in Abuja with Team North Central emerging champions after defeating maiden edition winners Team South South by 8 wickets.
In 2014 edition, we took third, and last year we took fourth. So this pains us so much and make us prepare well for this 2016 edition.
Team Southeast beat Team Northwest by 3 wickets in the third place match, while Team Southwest came fifth. As the 2016 US Open tees off this week in Pennsylvania, world number 2 golfer Jordan Spieth says he has put behind what happened to him at the Masters 2 months ago, where he failed to defend his title. The 22-year-old American, who hopes to compete at the Rio Olympics, insists he is focused on winning the US Open back-to-back. With sports update, Kenan Imabodike, NTA News.
We'll now take a look at Wednesday's weather prospect in Nigeria and some world cities. And that's the news on NTA International. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I'm Shegun Lawale.